Namo Narayan Swamiji. What a wonderful, I would say, session that we have today for the enlightenment, and on a subject which would certainly be everybody's job to hear, listen, and understand successful life. And we have none other than Swamiji, and I had an introduction written to me, but when I was with Swamiji downstairs for that 5 minutes, I could make out what leadership Swamiji is taking and playing a role across the country among all the lot of institutions which are promoting the spirituality in India. So we have this session, and we used to have, and quite a bit of us would know, and Swamiji, that we had a wisdom week earlier. So earlier we used to have a week where we had back-to-back 6-7 sessions where we would have revered saints like you coming over and then picking up a topic. And then now what we have done, and certainly thanks to Unmesh Bhai structure, that because Wisdom Week is after COVID, we have tried to make it a regular event. Instead of a 6-7 days event, we would like to ideally have some senior revered saint like Swamiji to speak on a topic and enlighten us once a month that we are trying to do. So that goes on. So this is essentially a part of the larger management, because there is an Ahmedabad Management Association, but there is a life management. So that is the structure. And I would also want to communicate to you at large, all our people who have been Wisdom Week, we used to open up 3, 4, 5 auditoriums and seminar halls. So that communication also we are doing. Now we are also having a YouTube. So we are YouTube live also. A lot of people join on YouTube. So that's the format of the program. Certainly the successful life, a topic which all of us are too keen, and getting a perspective of the larger than life, thought process from the Swamiji. But I do remember once, I'm not sure exactly, Narayan Murthy or somebody in a convocation at IIM, that they mentioned that it is not the success that will give you happiness. It is the happiness that will give you success. So don't wait for the happiness and then, okay, once I become successful, I will become happy. It would be always otherwise. So probably successful life is something that we are very keen to listen to Swamiji today. I'll do my duty to introduce Swamiji, known to all of us. Of course, we have been missing Swami Adhyatmanandji also from the Shivananda Ashram. But Pujya Swami Parmatmananda, a senior disciple of His Highness Swami Dayanand Saraswati, epitomizes wisdom and services with over 43 years of teaching Vedanta, Sanskrit and Yoga. As a founder chairman of Arsh Vidya Mandir and president of Shivananda Ashram Ahmedabad, he has led numerous initiatives, including key roles in national committees chaired by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Pujya Swamiji's global influence is evident through his participation in conferences worldwide, promoting interfaith dialogue. He has impacted over 10 lakh individuals through teaching and training programs, earning recognition such as the D list of Gujarat University and Sanskritik Yodha Award from Government of Gujarat, highlighting his commitment to the spiritual growth, education and service. So Swamiji, we are very keen to listen to you. Certainly, nobody wants me to be speaking more, but thank you once again, and we Swamiji look forward to having you more often at Ahmedabad Management Association for wisdom and enlightenment. I will where is the book, if you can give it to me? Thank you. It's behind the Swamiji. Just welcome with a token of love. Yeah.
ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ॐ शान्तिः 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 ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Blessed Dr. Savan and his team of AMA and distinguished guests. Thanks for choosing such a nice topic. Success is something that everybody loves. Nobody loves failure. And nobody loves himself or herself as a failure person. We need to understand what is the success. And also we need to understand successful life. I think it should be successful living. Moment to moment, you live successfully. Let's analyze life. What is life? There are two verbs in English: to live and to be alive. With modern inventions and modern gadgets, one can be kept alive for a number of days. Even in this VS, there was one firefighter who survived 18 years. He somehow fell down, and on support system, he survived for 18 years. But that's not life. He is alive all right. We want to live life. Just mere survival is not living. When I say live life, means we want to interact with the world outside. We want to connect with the world outside. Nobody likes that vegetative survival. And that's why we have always this dharma sankat, what we call in Gujarati. When we go to somebody's place for bhiksha, there is an old person, grandpa or grandmother or mother or father. They would be in bed. They will take Swamiji, Swamiji, bless my mother, bless my father. And when you go to them, they usually ask, Swamiji, I'll speak that dialogue in Gujarati, you will get the punch, you know. Swamiji, હવે ભગવાનને કહો ઉપાડી લે. તું 95 કિલો નહીં, ભાઈ ભગવાનને ટચક્યું થઈ જાય, હવે વજન તો ઉતાર પહેલા. I have a problem. If I give that blessing and it blessings works, I will lose bhikshas and I will lose dakshinas along with bhikshas. And how can I bless somebody that you die? Desire to die also stems from this fact that I don't want to survive without interacting with the world outside. No doubt, and that I am dependent on somebody is always painful. It's something that I am unhappy. Even suicide is by a person who or she thinks that I am most unhappy person. I am a failure. That's what suicide is. Now let's go a step further. Success is a relative word. It differs from person to person and differs from time to time also. All of us, when we were young, success was getting good marks. No, success was getting good time to play and win the game. As you grow, success definition keeps on changing. General definition of success is that you get what you aspire to. You get what you work for. That's a success. So it becomes a subjective. A person may want some power and position. Other person may want to relinquish the power and position. Or other person wants to be quiet in Himalayas and one wants to be busy in the world. It's a relative. However, this modern culture has evolved some universal definition of success. This modern society has new parameters to define success. That's very evident. Even our media reports. Now and then we get the news. The worth of the richest person is so and so. There are lists, Fortune 500 companies, Forbes 500 list, and we think they are successful. Having lot of money and having lot of objects are the best objects available in the world. I have made it. Or at least society says that you have made it. आप तो सफल हो गए. Others say that. Now, if you look at yourself, then people say also, number of desires, number of aspirations fulfilled, that is the quotient of success. Desires to be fulfilled and desires fulfilled. The quotient is success. Unfortunately, desires fulfilled is very, very precious little, and the desire to be fulfilled is endless. I always find as a human being, with or without money, with or without power, with or without position, with or without pleasure, always a wanting person. I have, but I want little more. It is exactly like those days Pepsi Cola advertisement. Ye dil mange more. Starts with getting money. Having had some money, wants power. Wants to get into politics, wants a ticket, then minister, then chief minister, and every chief minister wants to be prime minister. And every prime minister wants to be a global leader. We have those stories. Indra wanting to rule all the three worlds. That is a human mind. You know your failures. You know your shortcomings. Then there is a new parameter that has emerged. The self-estimation or the self-judgment is often based on what others say about me. How they look at me. How they respect me. And I want everybody else to look up to me. Everybody else to look up to me as somebody. You know why? I feel that I am nobody. Everybody feels I am nobody and therefore wants others to look up to me as somebody. I want my father to love and respect me, my mother to love and respect me, my neighbor, my colleagues, the business which I do in that, and ultimately want the wife to respect me, which is a pipe dream, unfortunately. And she also wants him to respect her. She also wants that he should look up to him. And the whole world looks up to me, but my children doesn't listen to me. My children don't look up to me. What others look at me and they say, oh, you are great. You are Indra and Chandra. I feel, yes, I am somebody. Therefore, when you praise somebody, the fellow is always happy. When the respect is given, the fellow is always happy. People make sure to get the respect. They demand respect. And if disrespected, he or she feels unhappy. That shows there is a sense of emptiness within. There is a sense of self-non-acceptance within. There is a sense of self-low image, sense of self-incompleteness. Everybody should respect, and especially modern motivational speakers nowadays. They say, you get once you desire to want. Go for kill, like this typical modern culture, go-getters. And they throw some names. Dhirubhai Ambani was just filling fuel at the petrol pump. You can become like that. Steve Jobs was like this, and then told a story, all kinds of things. It's good to inspire, but that's not a fact. 10, 15 years ago, I had some lectures in Bombay. Those days, social media was not this. You had a hard newspaper. I was reading Times of India. On the last page, Amitabh Bachchan's picture was there with one leg like this on chapati and looking at the sea, and a caption was, quarter page, Main aur meri tanhaiya. I wondered what it was. Then I read little the article, and it said, it is this place that had slept 3 nights on chapati. It is this place where I used to spend my time. His history was told. And the message was, you can start from chapati and can become Amitabh Bachchan. I wondered, when we were young, though this is a Hindi movie, first of all, they have only one thing. 99.99% Hindi movie is same. Hero, heroine, villain, fighting, villain, fighting, and villain. Janaganaman, over. Villain has to come. Indian movies have songs in between. And those days, there were songs where heroine will or hero will be just, for the facial expression, will sing song. Then our time, slowly it came, they have to go to garden for singing. That's what started when I was young. And heroine will run so fast, hero cannot catch her. That is also there. Now the change has come when the hero or heroine starts. Suddenly from nowhere, 50 in a uniform will spring up. They will be in uniform. This fellow or good heroine will be in free dress. And so when the hero answers, they also will be like that. I said, all those 50 have come to become Amitabh Bachchan only. Understand? You can't get what you aspire. There is failure is a part of life. And you can't say that fellow failed and even then he made it. I should be able to make it. No. It's a naked truth of life. Since I know my failures, since I know my limitations, I want to make up certain things to look that I am a successful or rich person. I would say successful life is capacity to accept the failures. It's a part of it. Who doesn't have failures? Even our Bhagavan, when he took avatara as a human form, Rama or Krishna, they also had a failure. And we glorify failure. Our Dakor, Rana Choda Raya ki jai. It is like saying, અમદાવાદમાં ફૂલેકું ફેરવીને કોઈ મુંબઈ ગયો અને ત્યાં આપણે બોલીએ અમદાવાદ છોડ રાય કી જય. It is like that. He also had his own failures. He also had some people who didn't listen to him. Jarasandha didn't change. In spite of all his glory, we hear Krishna when he played the flute, all the trees, all the cows and animals lost their body consciousness. They will just stare at him without even winking the eyes. And gopis also ran for him. With all that smile, he went to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana didn't listen. He went as a messenger. He didn't listen. So what can you do? Nothing. That is a human weakness. In each one's life, there are people who refuse to change. And capacity to accept them is success. It's a typical of human being. If you refuse to change, nobody can change, including Krishna Bhagavan. Jarasandha also did not change. So, failures in terms of what you want and you didn't get, and failures in terms of the people near and dear you, conducting themselves which irritates you, which causes problems. Sometimes you lose few things because of them. They are always there. Capacity to maintain self-composure, capacity to accept them and work on, proceed further is the first level of success, I would call it. Secondly, they say simplistic solutions. This is all British narrative. Somehow it has gone into Indian psyche. And even Swami talked this. Don't expect anything. Less expectations, more happiness. The fellow who says expects you to not to expect. And that fellow goes around the globe and tells like this. So you should better less expect people to change. This is not possible. You can't live without expectation. When you came over here, you did expect Swamiji to come. And you certainly expect that Swami to talk some sense. And I also expected audience to listen and understand. Even Krishna taught Gita to Arjuna because he expected that fellow will understand. And he was sure that Duryodhana will not understand. Therefore he didn't choose him. Who can live like that? Desire less. Don't expect. It is not possible. To expect is a privilege. To desire is a privilege, provided you can manage your desires. Provided you can manage yourself. In what way? Not making self-judgment based on your fulfilled and unfulfilled desires. We are always judgmental in terms of myself and for others. Now, look at this. When we say the person has power and money and position and resources, he or she is successful. But look at yourself. As I said, even with or without, there is always a feeling, little more I want. Little more I want to achieve. Enough money, but little more. Enough power, but little more. What does it reflect? It is not the thing that you want. It is the self-satisfied self that you are seeking. It is a self that I accept myself that you are ultimately seeking. The bottom line of all pursuit is that. There is a beautiful dialogue in Chandogya Upanishad. where Yajnavalkya tells his wife, when he had two wives, Gargi and Maitreyi, Katyayani and Maitreyi. He had earned a lot of riches and fame because of his knowledge and wisdom in dialogues. So he said, of all golds and all animals and all property I am distributing between two of you, and I am going. She said, where are you going? He said, I am going for immortality, for amrutatvam. I am taking to life of sannyas. Then his wife said, will I get amrutatvam with this? The money and the land and the animals and this all that you are giving? She said, no. They said, what for is this? There is a beautiful famous verses. Navare putrasya kamaya putram priyo bhavati atmanastu kamaya sarvamidam priyam bhavati. Navare vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya vittam priyam bhavati sarvam prihil. Enlist what all we love, what all we like, what all we want to possess. He says, you don't want anything for the sake of that thing. I don't want money for the sake of money. I want to see myself as a complete being, as a happy being. I don't want relationship for the sake of relationship. I want myself to be happy, complete through that relationship. The bottom line of all pursuit is to discover that happy or content self. Anything that you do, either you try to possess or give up, it is to see myself as a happy person. As a child, we always look for some toys to find happiness, to see myself happy. They used to say, abhi de do, sukhi ho jayega. And I wanted that only. Little grown up, I wanted to play around in the streets and always wanted to win. And when I can't win in the street, I play with the grandpa so that I always win. I can break the rules. Grandpa don't mind to lose because he is a married guy. So since then he has been losing. He knows he is habituated to lose. He doesn't mind. That's what he wants. Little grown up, I want cosmetics. I want recognition from my peers just to feel happy, just to feel I am okay. Want money, want power, want position. Even marriage is also for happiness. Though expectations always goes wrong, that's a different thing. But whom do I want to marry? And even not to marry is also for happiness. Suicide is also for happiness. Divorce is also for happiness. And that happiness is nothing but self-contentment, self-fulfillment. That is successful life. That is called as Sthita Prajna in Bhagavad Gita. And that is what Lord Krishna personifies. Always happy. No gain or loss can impact me any which way. What kind of fullness? Very famous verse they have. That is there in the second chapter. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti yadvat tadvat kama pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. The fullness is like ocean. Cusacs of water goes to oceans in monsoon. But that fullness doesn't get improved. Ocean doesn't come into city. And in summer, suppose there is a consecutive drought, it doesn't happen that ocean receded and it became little less. Otherwise, Bombay fellows will build apartment on that. Nothing happens. Fullness is something that you cannot improve upon. He may get the pleasures, What kind of pleasures? Worldly pleasures are like the rivers flowing in the cusics of water. But still it is full. And may not get it also. Still he or she is full and complete. That means there is something. I would come to the point how our dharma looks at. There is a self-identity. There is a self-perception, or not perception, reality. You can be complete, you can be happy in spite of incompleteness. You can be happy in spite of dukkham. You are full, nothing can touch you. That is called sthita prajna. There is a need to relook at myself. As I said, I always look at myself from what I have, what others have, what others do, what others talk about me. That is one way of looking at it. And in reality, who am I? And if you discover that self, every moment of your existence is filled with fullness. You are Ananda. Ananda is Ananta. Every moment of happiness is nothing but moments of fullness. Ananda, peace, and happiness are synonym. When you are happy, you are at peace with yourself. Otherwise, in pieces. Spelling changes. You are happy, you feel content. At that moment of happiness, there is no complaint. That moment, there may be nth number of changes that you want, but you don't care. You accept the things as it is. Other person, you had some differences of opinion. It got resolved and both apologizes to each other. They say, I am sorry that I am a very angry person and I said so. Spouse says so. She says, no, I like you, you are angry, but your heart is very good. And she says, no, it is my tongue that is bad. And that fellow says, no, you are such a nice person. Everything is acceptable. The problem is, it doesn't matter what you have and what you don't have. What counts is how you look at yourself. What is your self-estimation? What is your self-judgment? What is your self-knowledge? And once I discover that self, that is full and complete, as I said, every moment of existence is successful life. Whether you have worldly things or not, you may have name and fame or not, you may have riches or not, power or not, it doesn't touch me. Because simple, infinity is something that you cannot improve upon. Infinity plus infinity is also infinity. And infinity minus infinity is also infinite. And that is what Hindu culture is. Our goal of life is moksha. What is moksha? Don't think moksha is going somewhere. Even going heaven or going to Vaikuntha, you will have same problem. Because you will find somebody sitting in a row earlier than you. How come that fellow is here? He is a papi, I should be there. Human mind is enough to become unhappy. That's not freedom. Or living this world is moksha, that is also not freedom. Remaining in this world you get bound, that is also not bondage. It has nothing to do. I often say this. In 60s, this Gohatya Band Karo movement had started. Then those days Rishikesh sadhus also joined. And the Karpatriji Maharaj gave a call, and they all take a julus, go hatya, ban karo, ban karo, ban karo. And of course, collector has imposed that it is illegal to gather more than 5%. So any congregation was subject to be arrested. And those sadhus were told, Maharaj ji, aisa mat karo, हमें आपको अरेस्ट करना बोले कर लो. जुलूस निकल गया, उसने अरेस्ट किया. And those days, by the way, Rishikesh had no jail. Okay, jail was in Dehradun. So in those days, roads were not good. Police vans were also original jeep converted into van. So they took them away and they put them in jail. Next day, new sargas, go hatya, ban karo, ban karo. Police had to arrest, took them to jail. By then, jail was full, overcrowded. There was no so much of crime in those days. Third day, again new sadhus. They had to arrest, took them, and then finally decided, let us release the fellows who were arrested on first day and put third day into jail. This process went on. After a week, police discovered the same group is coming after third day. पुलिस वाला asked them, that jailer, महाराज जी क्यों जेल में आते हो? आप तो मुक्त हो, बंधन में क्यों आते हो? बोले क्या बंधन है? बोले जेल में. तो उसमें क्या है? उधर भी भगवान का नाम लेना, इधर भी लेना है. नाम लेके भिक्षा लेने जाना पड़ती, इधर तो तू दे जाता है, हमें तो कोई जेल ही नहीं है. Four walls don't make prison. Similarly, living with people doesn't make samsara or bondage. Or running away and living alone doesn't make freedom. You have to understand certain facts of life, certain facts about Ishvara, certain facts about the world, certain facts about life, and ultimately certain facts about yourself. And for that, our dharma gives a way. The whole way of Hindu life is meant to give you success, is meant to discover that fullness. Whether you are married or not, whether in Ahmedabad or Rishikesh, if you follow that Hindu way of life, you will become successful. Why? How? The relative success is self-acceptance, in spite of failures. Ultimate success is discovering that I am Purna. And that relative success of self-acceptance, a person mind which is free from conflicts, a mind which is free from hurts and guilts, a mind which is free from any inner pressure to do, pressure to prove, pressure to justify. The free mind. And that mind you can achieve through dharma. A mind which loves oneself. There is no love for oneself. People say, I hate it. Especially Americans are extremists. I hate it and love it. Every moment, that self-love is first thing. I am reminded of I had an experience about 7-8 years ago. In February, I had some talk in some colleges. I gave a talk and threw open the dais for question answer. It was near that Valentine Day. So one guy got up and told me, Swamiji, what is your message for Valentine Day? मैं बोला मारा वैलेंटाइन नोती जोती એટલે ભાવ બન્યો યાર તું ખોટા માણાને પૂછે છે. You are asking a wrong person, but anyway I'll give you the message. Nowadays there is a way of proposal. You have to have only red rose. You have to kneel down and tell, I am incomplete without you. that also is incomplete. Two incomplete will never make complete. Anyway, I love you and will you marry me? I said, before telling anybody I love you, રોજ સવારે જેને જોઉં ને એને કે I love you. That is myself. I don't love myself. I don't accept myself. And nowadays, this modern culture has added few more areas of self non-acceptance. Formerly, people didn't have much problem with their hair or with the forehead or this. Nowadays, the problem with this hair is also there. Whole cosmetic industry is non-acceptance. We accepted old age. Grey hair, we had no problem. Baldness, we had no problem till it became fashion nowadays. This is how I am. Physically, I don't accept. If I am black, I want to be fair. And there are fair and lovely fellows. 7 दिन में मुँह का निखार. अला भाई हाथ दाड़ाम थतु तो अफ्रीका में करने यार અહીંયા કાંઈ થતું નથી. This is all rubbish. Whole marketing create an insufficiency in you. Make you feel that you will not be complete without this. You will not be better without this. And you buy it, as they say. You you sell yourself. You just bought what the fellow said. Incomplete, insufficiency at a physical level, emotional level, certainly. Swamiji, you don't know. I don't want to know also. How much sacrifice I have done for the family, for this institution, for this party, but nobody cares for me. I deserve more. Office also same problem. Every subordinate thinks my boss doesn't know. I am the one who runs the office. And boss thinks આના ચારા નહીં બજાર મને આવે હું એને હાચું છું. It is like school. As a children, we always had names for our teachers. આપણે બધાય ફૈબા હતા અને પરંપરા પ્રાપ્તમ. We continue, this teacher is like that. Always a feeling that I am not rewarded cognitively in terms of my knowledge and wisdom as I should have been. Ultimately, if nothing is there, then you blame Shani and Mangal and Rahu and Ketu. And then you go to Bhagavan. Oh Bhagavan, why are you doing this? Swamiji, I don't deserve this, they tell me. As though Bhagavan has made a wrong entry. Indian banks can do. Bhagavan will never do punya pap wrong entry. Relative self-acceptance comes when you live a life of dharma. Please understand, dharma doesn't mean belief system. English language doesn't have a synonym for certain concepts, certain things about our culture. For yoga, they don't have. Now there's a yoga, that's their word. For punya and papa they have word sin. No word for punya. My teacher used to say, no, there is a word. Do some punya. That is English, They don't know what is dharma. Faith is not dharma. When I go to such conferences, they tell us, leaders from various faith. I don't come from a faith-based tradition. We have knowledge-based tradition. We have wisdom-based tradition, not simply faith. And all these beliefs, which are non-verifiable beliefs, that you will get hurrahs in heaven. Who has got? You will have eternal dinner with God. These are all unverifiable stories. This is like tourism promotion. When you see Ahmedabad municipal brochure, you think, hey, yahi Ahmedabad mein hum rehte hain kya? This is what you live. It is they give a rosy picture about hereafter. No, that's not the thing. And that's why they promise that you will be fulfilled over there. That's not true. Coming back to this, dharma has two aspects. Samanya dharma, what we call as ethics, what we call as values. Every human being must follow this, and they are universal, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, nationality, age, sex, nothing to do with it. And you cannot have double standards in dharma. What is it? It is universal, based, and you don't need even a teacher for that. You don't need even a religious teacher. You don't need a faith-based tradition. You just need common sense. Unfortunately, people don't use it. They have. That's why it is called common sense. But they don't use it. These ethics are universal based on simple fact. You don't need to study anything. What is a simple fact? This is based on mutual behavioral expectations which are universal. What is mutual behavioral expectation? I don't want anyone to lie to me. That is universal. Whether you are Hindu or Christian or Jew or Buddhist or Muslim, you don't want to be lied to. I don't want anyone to hurt me, either physically or verbally or mentally. You don't want. Nobody wants. Since I don't want others to do unto me, I should not do unto them what I want them not to do to me. Simple fact. In fact, all the laws are based, all the criminal laws across the world are based on this fact. They have double standard that is separate. That you can kill, you should not kill our people who have same faith, but other faith fellows, they deserve to be killed. You cannot have that. Double standard causes problem. I don't want anyone to exploit me when I am weak. I want everyone to help me when I am weak. So I should also help somebody who is weak and never exploit the person. Universal. They say, Bhagavan goes to the extent of saying, the person who follows this value is a real yogi. Nowadays there is a popular belief that doing asana pranayama is yoga and meditation is yoga. Actually it is yama niyama onwards. It's a perverted swarupa of yoga they are talking. Though I was the most influential and instrumental in declaring World Yoga Day, I am repeating, why did I do that? Now we have reduced yoga to only asana pranayama, that's an alternative therapy to keep the figure okay. It is a therapy to address the disease. If you have back problem, do this yoga and pranayama. If you have spondylitis, do this yoga and pranayama. If you have asthma, do this. Yoga is something more. They have reduced to that. Anyway, coming back to this, 6th chapter, Bhagavan says, Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mata. A person who puts himself or herself in the place of others and then conducts. Then Gujarati में सीधी भाषा में कहे ना, जे बीजाना सुखे सुखी થઈ શકે અને બીજાના દુખે દુખી થઈ શકે, એ ખાલી યોગી નથી, પરમ યોગી છે. You need not do pranayama. That calls for simple empathy. Simple sensitivity, how others feel. And that calls for some space over here. It is all traffic jam. I want to achieve this and want to do this. This is not a da 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 da. That go-getter especially. You don't have space to think of others. When you live a life of this samanya dharma, and second aspect of dharma is vishesha dharma. According to your position in terms of relationships, what is expected out of me to do, any kind of contributory action, any kind of giving action is a Vishesha Dharma. Dharma means duty. Dharma means, as we simply call it, as faraj. If you live a life of dharma, Shastra prescribes so certain karmas, duty towards the parents, duty toward the society, duty toward the nation, and duty toward the whole universe. All devatas, all natural forces I am indebted to. I need to contribute. Resources are not for myself alone to enjoy. Resources are there to contribute first and then enjoy. Tena tyaktena bhunjita. First give. That's what our culture was. Every village in India has a bird feeder. Chabutro. And every member of the society in the village will take the grains early morning and put it for the birds. Then they will grind it those days. I grew up in a tradition when the first roti is made, we were told, Gai ne api aao. Then everybody should eat. So attitude of giving, attitude of sharing, attitude of contributing for others, that is a second aspect of dharma. Whether you go to temple or not, whether you go to a Swami and take a Diksha and mantra and do Tila Tapka or not, that only doesn't make you dharmic. Dharmic is a person who is committed to this ethical life and life of duty. That person, even if he is atheist, he is respected in our culture. I do come across quite a few number of people. Say, we don't go to temple. I don't want to do mala. I don't want to connect to any Swamiji. But Swamiji, I am always ethical. Even government, thank God there are some officers. They are endangered species. Save lion, save tiger, we have to save them also nowadays. They say, I never take any corruption, Swamiji. And I am honest to my work. I have never erred in my duty. I don't know. Such a person that they have, I give them freedom to tell me on the face. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Swami. I said, that's good. I am willing to call them dharmika. But going to temples, organizing kathas with 2 number paisa, bigger the katha, bigger the amount. And that is another problem. And showing off all the chinhas, but not fulfilling samanya dharma or vishesh dharma, that fellow is not dharmic. When you live a life of dharma, you relatively discover self-satisfaction, relative self-contentment, relative self-fulfillment. That is what Hindu society was. These resources, our fathers and forefathers never had it. What we have today, technology has literally created heaven over for us. It is all on fingertips nowadays. In spite of that, society is always suffering from discontentment and dissatisfaction. And they had a time, that inner leisure to enjoy whatever they had. Inner space to accept whatever they are. They had some relative self-contentment because they lived a life of dharma. That's what our culture was. Society created a pressure if somebody didn't follow his or her dharma. So his or his duty they didn't follow. That is why our Shastra says, dharma, then arthakam. In other words, it is not the end that is bad. Our Shastra doesn't censure or condemn money or pleasure. If it is through dharma, it is praised. Even desire is not bad. Bhagavan says in Gita, Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi Bharatarshava. And his son is Kama, Pradyumna is Bhagavan's son. Provided it is through dharma. Provided you follow that. Look at this. If you analyze a little deeply, there is no difference between Devatas and Danavas. Both are fighting for heaven. Nothing, no difference. They all want heavenly pleasure. That's all it is. One wants to display the other, another wants to display the first. Then why Bhagavan always sides Devas? On one hand, Bhagavan says, Name dveshyosti nacha priya. I don't have likes and dislikes, all are equal to me. But why you side Devas? So much so, he is almost partial. If you look at the Samudra Manthan story, he became Mohini for Devas and deprived Danavas for that nectar. Why did he do that? You know, the difference is, it is not the end, it is means that is more important than end. End should not justify the means. Means should justify the ends. Devatas live a life of dharma. Therefore there is Bhagavan. Arjuna lived a life of dharma. Therefore Krishna on his side and not on Duryodhana's side. That living a life of dharma, not faith, living a life of contributor, living a life of giving, living a life of sharing, living a life of empathy, living a life of having sensitivity for others. That makes you dharmikaha. And if you live, Ishvara is on your side, and when Ishvara is with you, you enjoy relative self-contentment. You can see on Gandhiji's face. He always lived truth. You see that Gandhiji fondling the child. Just imagine, those days transport industry was not there, almost nil. Communication was almost nil except the newspaper. That too didn't reach some places. And still he created a movement. Every citizen rose. The background was the mindset of slavery. The mindset that I am nobody, we can't do, they are great and we are useless. Sense of low in about our culture and our way of life. And sense that is progressive. It was so inbuilt. When I went to Rajkot for first time in 80s, and though I grew up in Gujarati medium, I studied English in 8th standard. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I learned then. But fortunately, my teacher was from South, and he didn't know Hindi, because South, they were against Hindi. So I studied Shastras in English. And with them, and before that, I almost 4.5 to 5 years, all conversations were in English. So thinking process also was in English. It was very difficult when I came back to Gujarat to teach, that the flow in Gujarati never came. So I kept on translating. I used to write the whole lecture. Then I could speak. And in the 80s when I went there, they used to say, Arey, Swamiji is great. Phadafad English bole. The scavenger sweepers at the airport in US and England also speak English. That background, society had this. He had inner leisure to pray daily at 6 to 6:30. We never found Gandhiji under stress. Nowadays, after 90s, it has started stress management. I said, government had asked me to take some stress management classes for government officials. The undersecretary level fellows were there. I told them on the face, you don't need stress management. Public needs your stress givers. I told bluntly to them, couple of secretaries were also sitting. Why should you manage? Our elders didn't know what is stress. Because life of dharma. When you discover self-acceptance, relative, When you discover yourself free from hurt and guilt, you are happy. And that is success. And that success leads you to the discovery of a self which is Purnaha. And that is our definition of successful living. I should feel I am okay. Others may say, you are great. But inside me, I should feel I am okay. Others, inside me, I should feel I am great. Whether others recognize or not, I am okay. With these words, I pray that may you live a life of dharma. We have Rama there. Ayodhya, Ram aayenge. Ram udhar aa gaye. And we want Bharat to be Vishwa Guru. You don't become Vishwa Guru by enhancing GDP. Otherwise, America is already Vishwa Guru. This Rama has come, but Ram Rajya has to be established. And that's a duty of all of us. When we shy from compromising values. We feel uncomfortable in doing something improper. We feel unhappy or we have a guilt if I had to do something which is not right. Then, when you live a life of dharma, then this country becomes Vishwaguru. And then is Ramaraj. Ramaraj is not simply prosperity. They had it. It will certainly come as a byproduct. But prosperity without dharma, Ravana had enough. What enough? You can't imagine even. More than enough he had. Devatas were working for his. Whole Lanka was centrally air conditioned. A place or market can be centrally air conditioned. Lanka itself was. Riches doesn't make it Ramaraj. The attitude or vision of every citizen makes it Ramaraj. And these values given by our Shastra, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Ityadi, when you live up to it, then there is Ramaraj and then it becomes Vishwaguru. At least, may we be honest in paying all the tax. Why digitalization? Everything is digitalized because to avoid human interaction, human intervention. Let us own up ourselves. Forget about even a country. Let us own up that I will not do anything which is improper. It is for your benefit. For nation will grow as a byproduct, but you will be content. May our country be Ramaraj. Therefore, this country's name was Dharmakshetra. The name India and Hindustan and Bharat and Aryavrat was later. The first word of Gita is Dharmakshetre Kurukshetra. Dharmakshetra means every citizen is committed to Dharma. May we live that life and own up the riches, as they say, unquantifiable riches in terms of our Vedantic wisdom. Wisdom of Gita, wisdom of Upanishad, that has been gifted to us. Own it up. Let us expose ourselves to that and discover that Anandoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. That is successful living. May you have successful life. With these prayers, I close and I hope to have some question answers as well. Namaste. Mike? Yeah.
આ કોમ્પિટિશનના જમાનામાં રાગ દ્વેષ એનાથી કઈ રીતે બચવું, પિયર પ્રેશર?
Competition was always there. There is nothing wrong in having like or dislike. Okay? And you cannot exist without likes and dislikes. Because certain likes and dislikes you bring from Purva Janma. Even the twins of a same sex, you will find the difference. One likes milk, other don't like. One likes red color, other don't like. It is there. And the process of growth, parents also inculcate likes and dislikes. Culture gives, religion gives, neighbors gives, elders gives, everything gives you likes and dislikes. You cannot be free from it. But capacity not to be carried down by them, not to be driven by my likes and dislikes, that's a strength. Have it, nothing wrong. Bhagavan is not against ragadveshas. But that I am always driven by them, that's a problem. I am the master of my likes and dislikes and I can manage. Even Krishna had a likes and dislikes. Therefore he always had a Mayur picture. Why didn't he keep some other feather? He always wore yellow, as they call it, pitambar. So you can have it, nothing wrong in it. To manage that, you need to live a life of karma yoga. I just now said, without expecting is not karma yoga. Karma yoga is to understand certain facts about Ishvara. And Bhagavan is a most abused word. Everybody has a subjective picture. Even atheist also has idea about Bhagavan. If you ask him, why don't you believe in Bhagavan? Well, if there is Bhagavan, then this should not happen. That means his job is Bhagavan should do this. I had 2-3 old guys, they were real devotees, daily doing 3-4 hours puja and all that. After 2-3 years, I went to his place and asked him, how is puja doing? Swamiji, બધું ઊંચું મૂકી દીધું. I said, what happened? I don't believe in God. I said, why? No more Bhagavan. I said, what happened? You have been such a devout Krishna Bhakta and suddenly what happened? He says, મારા છોકરા ને છોકરો 12માં ફેલ થયો ને મેં મૂકી દીધું. એટલે ભગવાનનું એવા ભગવાનમાં માને છે જેણે પૌત્રોને 12માં પાસ કરાવવા જોઈએ. That is his definition of Bhagavan. Every religion is a new definition of Bhagavan. But there is one fact about Ishvara which you should know. I really repeat, with pain I am telling, we have certain things you take for granted. We don't care for our Shastra and heritage. We never tried to learn it. And somehow there is a conclusion this is to be done after retirement. When you are good for nobody, you are good for Swamis. It has a deep wisdom which one should expose. Get a competent teacher who knows Shastra, who knows how to communicate, and at least expose yourself to Shastra. Know certain facts. And when you understand that, it is all free life, inner leisure. You can manage raga dvesha.
Good evening, everybody. Pujya Swamiji, Dr. Savan, Variaji, we have management groups, Sailesh Pai, my fellow trustees of Sivananda Ashram, office bearers of the AMA, and the learned audience. Wonderful evening, Swamiji. You have enlightened us and disillusion us on the many concepts, man-made concepts of the success or the failure. And you rightly said that we have been living a referential, evaluating, and judgmental life with our limited perceptions, which is a cause of some stress and trauma and ignorance in our life, and we feel that I am not successful. Success, historically, success has been very dynamic, changing concept with the change of time. Also, demographically, it is a different meaning is changes of the success. Success also, people believe that means that the accomplishment of my desires and my goals or accomplishment of my dreams is the success of a life, which eludes the meaning of success. For a peace and compose of mind, Swamiji, you said that avoid judging the people, avoid evaluating the people. Adhyatmanji Maharaj used to say that accept, accommodate, and adapt in the society. And that's what you also said, same thing, for the success of a life. Okay. We always judge success in terms of the money, power, and positions, which is once again a myth of a success. Our scripture says in one Ganeshji Stuti, Swamiji, that this material manifestation is by virtue of Ichha Sakti, Kriya Sakti, and Jnana Sakti. So these are the three dimensions which put together as what we see the evolution of the universe. The quantum physics theory says that there are millions of galaxies and billions of stars, and still the universe is only 0.5% visible or less than 1% visible. 95% is a black energy. Similarly, we are a part of the cosmic consciousness, that we are an integral part of the human being. We have got infinite energy, infinite potentials, and only less than 1% that we have explored that. And in order to have a success, I think as Swamiji said, that there are yogic ways through which you can explore these untapped potentials to have a brighter success in your life. Okay. Tagore also said in his poem that tireless striving stretches his arms towards perfections, which is nothing but everybody wants to evolve. So evolvement is the law of nature. And we have been evolving, and now we have come to the digital era and era of the AI. And that will make another definition of success in a life. So success is always a changing concept. Wayne Dyer said there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way of life. And that is what Swamiji said, that irrespective of situations, the acceptance of the failure is also a success and a happiness. On a lighter side, Swamiji is good that this topic selected is a successful life. We have one word in between left, and that is married word. Successful married life, which would have generated more controversy and a debate in the bedroom of the audience, right? So it only simply think that a successful married life is intercontinentally have the same meaning. One bachelor prospective groom asked the married man, his friend, that how is a successful married life? Who decides? Of course, wife decides what is successful life, married life. So what is the key factor and criteria to count the successful married life? He said that it depends upon how many times you say your wife, I love you daily in the morning. As you said, say I love you to everybody and accept and love yourself. Yeah. And irrespective of the mistake of your wife, when you say, I'm sorry, darling, these are the two key elements for a successful married life. It was in a good, successful life very enlightening lecture that we heard, Swamiji. I thank the executive director here, Mr. Unmes, who worked very hard for this, fixing these lectures. Thank you, our photographer, videographer, for his services. And thank you, all of you, for sparing your valuable time and attending this enlightening session. And I profusely and profoundly thank Swamiji for your love and for your enlightening us with the topic of the successful life. And thank you all. Thank you.